All right, let's give a nice, warm welcome to our first poet who's gonna set the bar so high, Sherry, everyone. Now let me tell you a little bit about Sherry. He was born in Pakistan and moved here in 1998 with his family, and he actually attended Sarah Lawrence College where he received his Bachelor of Arts in May 2011. So now he's here and he's pursuing pre-medicine, but he's also studying poetry. It's a good combination with Professor Fallon. So let's give a nice warm round of applause and all of our attention to Sherry, everybody.
Thank you. I'll let it go. A history of longing. I am stuck between two languages, with a handful of syllables and twisted tongue. I was eloquent when 9, before flying over the Atlantic, before seeing colors of skin lighter and darker than my own, in degrees I did not know existed. I keep my writing to the left of the page, afraid of spilling into parts I do not yet know, afraid of spaces the way my father is afraid of gaps in his memory. He tells us stories to fill the years he feels he has not lived. My past is a haze of rushed moments, of bricks being thrown at worshipers on my side of the wall as they prostrated, of boys dodging cars to catch loose kites, of guns claiming victory upon the rooftops of wealthy men, as women in makeshift tents huddled over their young. What goes up comes down in raging fury. In dreams, I run from lions in the streets of Pittsburgh, then hold a dead, homeless man outside my apartment in West Haven. As a child, a younger me sobs, "Grandpa." Other times, my table lamp is the sun bending towards a lawn of dead things in Lahore, where an old woman spills ram's blood on the earth surrounding a wilted mango tree, pleading, "Live." In love, I'm awkward, the way I was on the first day of school in America, equipped with one phrase, "Is this pig meat? What's your name? Is this pig meat?" In loving, I'm honest, between two lines of a page, where I can write a springtime of my beloved, walking through orchards of my childhood, playing a game of hide and seek among trees that told a history of my family better than my elders. Your great-grandfather planted these jamanberry trees and ate them with sea salt when they were in season until all his shirts were red with stains. They say jamanberries stain the way blood stains, and to tell the difference, one must wait until one's clothes are dry. Mothers tell their children that far away at the border, the war is only a great big feast of jamanberries, and their fathers were brought home asleep. In America, my father saw jamanberries, but settled for a mint and tomato garden my brother mowed over several springs ago. Often, sitting together, we forget how long it has been since that night my mother counted all her china and wrapped it in newspapers saying, "We cannot go to another country without plates." Thank you.
How about another round of applause for Sherry, everyone? All right, judges, you know what to do. So while they're calculating or configuring their scores, you guys can be tweeting, and I'm gonna also calculate too. But remember, it's hashtag UMBC Slam 2012. So they're giving me the thumbs up. All right. On the count of, oh, sorry. We're not math majors here, just remember. All right, on the count of 3. 1, like 1, 2, 3, and then flip, okay? All right, got it. All right, 1, 2, 3. So we have
6, 7, 7, 7, 8.
Wow, I love that.
All right, thank you, judges. Thank you, thank you. Our next performer, let's give it up for Abigail. Let me tell you a little bit about Abigail. She's a senior studying media and communications and creative writing. She's going to graduate in December, and after that, she would like to read all the books that she didn't have time to read in school. And after tonight's event, she's gonna go home, sit with her dog, and her dog apparently struggles with depression. So let's send her dog some love. But she's not using that for, pity points or anything, right? Exactly. All right. Abigail, everyone.
She's a great dog, she just doesn't know it. I'll be reading 3 poems. Hoopla. Nausea floats through the air. Legs, wanting to be hurled into the fireworks sky, only sway on a monotonous wheel. High above popcorn fumes, but never high enough. Beneath them, sticky, salty hands. Take, 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 all their tickets will buy, regurgitating elephant ears as they jitterbug off of a spinning disc. Faster than the speed of, fasten your seatbelts. In dodgems, some sit docile, but others in hysterics. As seatbelts carve lines into their skin, they rush toward the inevitable crash of metal, fueled by the electric hum of power that buzzes from ceiling to floor. Scintillated faces race from booth to booth, flooding painted faces with dirty water, knocking down bottles, infrastructure, drowning themselves gurgling after spit-coated apples. Nobody leaves until everyone gets a goldfish. As you scale the ladder of the earth, inspired by The Heights of Machu Picchu by Pablo Neruda. Your pants and socks scattered on my floor. You have gone and left them for me to wear. The roses were a day late, delivered by a tired woman on her cell phone. With chocolates I devoured, staring at pictures and a circle on a map. The cat misbehaves, lunging for my toes as I sleep. You would always stop him. You say, when I get home, we will ride our bikes, but my back tire still rubs against the rim. You are towering over mountains, stepping on clouds. You are running fast. I'll be a runner when you come home, but my lungs freeze, covered in morning frost. Yet I'll try to keep the pace and stop getting drunk on Mondays with sort of friends. Tonight, warm air and a cool breeze might let me breathe easy when I run for you. I will think of you and of Machu Picchu while my lungs ache and my legs burn. As you scale the ladder of the earth, eyes wide like Pablo's, there your spirit grows. But I am still an empty net as you gather the answers you went to find. Plan B. You shaved off your beard last week. The beard that's grays in the summer sent howls through open windows after I stopped caring about your neighbors and things to do with purity. That summer, when the wild cat had kittens underneath your dad's old car, you grew impatient at the rain. So I wrapped them up in ratty towels and left them in the sunroom. a surprise for my mother. The words of the preacher drove us to $3 vodka that a line cook bought for us on New York Avenue. We drank and read E. Cummings as some sad folk singer with a voice as languid as his eyes sang of almost young gypsy loves. We swallowed it all, and it burned our throats. And not tired, not ready, but tired, we staggered to bed to sway and sweat and scream, to abandon the weight. And on another cheap summer night, we dreamt of what mistakes could bring. We thought of names and runaway trains, but I don't have a trust fund, and I would never raise a child in Greenwich Village. We woke up to a minus sign, and I went home. But I saw you last week, and when I asked you why you shaved your beard, you said, "There's no reason for it anymore." Thank you.
How about another round of applause for Abigail? All right, judges, you're in the hot seat again. Wait, 1, 2, 3.
7,
Mhm.
7, 8, 6.
All right. All right, our third performer coming up. Please help me in welcoming Shayna Blank, everyone. All right, a little bit about Shayna. She is an interdisciplinary, there we go, sounded it out, study major. She's in her senior year here at UMBC. And her poem, Predators, actually appears in the 2011-2012 edition of the Susquehanna Review. So, Shayna, everyone.
I also have 3 poems. Dryness. I knew a whale once. He spoke to me like grass and wheat. When he breached the infinite amoeba of ocean, he soared. Tail of bird, body of fish, 2 slender wings of dragonfly. "You are the ocean," he said. His skin danced in the sunlight like a large opal that I could claim with one outstretched hand. But I left him. I left the water, knowing he would never. And I knew I wasn't the ocean. I was the salt. People as Birds, Poem 1, Osprey. I will take to the sea, swoop, blackened into an aphotic silhouette against the summer sun, or appear from the coast a deliberate sketch with the span of plumage, talon, mottled graphite breast and razor mouth, placed with exactitude on the heavy paper page of the sky. With trembling stippled feathers and glossy talons slipping among the spirals of water, lift one fish, the body a lump of violet and chrome, iridescent, form of so many flakes of mica blazing in a single palmful of dirt. In the heated, buoyant space between land and air, sand and air, water and air, life and air, during the rediscovering of salty flesh and fishy spine, an unexpected recollection, the fervent, ample beckoning, a split between what is seen and what is known, when the aquatic pulse breaks through vein and begins to submerge every shining facet. People as Birds, Poem 2, Vulture.
Last night I gorged myself on you, poking my deft tongue into the funnel of your bones to lick out the marrow. I moved to your mouth, popping the teeth from your gums one by one and scraping the pulp from them, discarding them then like a jeweler would misshapen pearls. I didn't mean for this to happen. I only wanted to make us parallel, raw, piecemeal, scavenged. I snapped your ribcage wide, like the steaming, creaking guts of an intricate clock, and pulled out your heart. But I couldn't bear to touch your lungs. They looked like swollen pink cats. I heard the murmur of your breath, shallow, impossible, and it seemed rude, crass of me to disturb their slumber. You misunderstood me, and my obligation to correct it has consumed me like a hunger. You have to know that this was real. So my hovering fingers slinked away, and I lifted my gaze too, and went searching for somewhere solitary to lick my chops. Thank you.
How about another round of applause for Shayna, everyone? Got a nice lineup, don't we? It's the best of UMBC. That's what the night should be called. All right, judges. Wow, you guys are fast. Okay, hold on 1 second. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
8, 6, 7, 7.
Thank you, judges. All right, our next poet coming up, please join me in welcoming Philip Coe, everyone. Philip, come on up. Philip is a current UMBC student, and he believes in firm handshakes and hot coffee. He also likes the smell of old books and cold air. Philip, everybody.
That's so official behind the podium, so. Hello, friend. This is a little something I scribbled down about my roommate, so. It's called My Female Roommate. All right. I come home to a Manhattan apartment 3 sizes too small, filled with the trinkets of a mother that loves her daughter too much if such a condition can exist. She never does her dishes. I want to bomb whoever runs HGTV. I'm never rooming with a female again. It's the worst parts of a marriage wrapped into one big cosmic cock punch that threatens to take your manhood away if you don't give yourself enough space. Ugh. I touch her with my toes. Things I do that annoy her, everything. A dry humping gargoyle that gets way too much pleasure out of fucking with people. But we never get into arguments when it comes to drugs. We never get into arguments when it comes to drugs. We slay cockroach-shaped dragons, scare lion-shaped mice. Whoa, time out there. We never get into arguments when it comes to drugs. We slay cockroach-shaped dragons, scare mice-shaped lions. We play with a dog that we decide is more human than both of us. And most importantly, she cares, and I trust her. Cares in a way she buys that extra slice of artichoke pizza. Sleepy-eyed, groaning. She waits. 3 a.m. with our glass named Penelope Cruz, packed and ready to go because climbing up 5 flights of marble stairs needs a proper motivation, needs a roommate. That's it.
Let's give it up for Philip one more time. Exactly why I never had a roommate. All right. Judges, you guys still doing okay? Yeah? All right. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
This direction this time. 5, 7, 8, 6, 6.
Thank you, thank you. All right, our next poet coming up. Let's welcome Marie Oliverio, everyone. Marie is 20 years old, and she's originally from Gaithersburg, Maryland, and she started writing at the age of 8. She's wanted to be a writer ever since. And about 3 years ago, she became interested in rap, and she kind of had an epiphany where her writing completely shifted for the better. She loves Eminem, hence the rap, rock concerts, and watching Fear Factor with her sister. Welcome, Marie, everyone.
I've never read at a poetry slam before, so this somehow turned into like an autobiographical, like, I don't know. It's way different than you guys. Anyway, okay. My writing is like a stream of consciousness. And when I say stream, I mean a constant, flowing, rushing, gushing, flushing toilet, where all my ignored ideas and rhymes get thrown. You see this bag? This bag contains every scribble, every thought that has ever come to my mind. And no one has ever read it. No one even knows it exists. But today, I sat in my space between my window and my bed, and I said, listen, this is useless. The truth is, you can't be a dentist if you're toothless. And like a very wise young poet said, scared is just cared with a lisp. So I'll stare right there and dare to say this. I want to rap for a living. Know what came to mind? Bloods and Crips, 50 Cent getting hit with a full clip, getting rich and a fine ass lady with you in the VIP, or VIP for those that aren't hip. And then me, at 19, completely white and 5'3". But I don't see the gold teeth or egos in rap. I see truth, poetry, and genius at work. I see a troubled girl with depression, regressing to her couch, can't get food to her mouth fast enough, laughter's gone, but what remained and saved her was a friend, a piece of paper, and a pen. Rap is not a gender, a color, a name. It is one of those spiritual things that connects to the bigger thing that no one understands. I know this isn't your typical poetry slam. This is the way I am. But imagine if Oprah never took the stand. The last things we'd be talking about on television are people's feelings in respecting women. Or if Michael Phelps decided he was too tired to dive into greatness and accept an Olympic medal for every year I've been alive. Or me. If I don't be what I say I want to be, then that would be the ultimate hypocrisy. When I tell my sister she can reach for any dream she believes she can achieve. Because as a society, success is the measure of what the generation does next. So I pledge that I will make a riot with this message and inspire someone else to try it. I'm not anticipating a standing ovation and accolades, but you could pay me $200 in packing tape, and I'll never pack my rhymes away. Not again, anyway.
Give it up one more time for Marie, everybody. So what would your stage name be? Or are you gonna go with the Marie-O-Yo? No? All right, well, just don't forget UMBC when you get big and famous, all right? So let me see. Okay, judges? You guys already done? Okay. Oh, we're waiting on me, excuse me, sorry. All right, 1, 2, 3. Call me. Nice. Thank you, judges. Oh my goodness. Okay, our next poet, let's welcome Jay Wilcox. Jay came from Alaska as a chubby, quiet kid who chose books over sports. Oh, I see no love handles. All right. Good job. Was it Insanity or P90X? Let me know, because I'm working.
I was like 10 years old.
Oh, gotcha. Let me finish your bio. Hold on. And let's see. So he preferred reading stories in the campfire as opposed to sports, and he practiced his craft. So following his December graduation, he plans on pursuing an MFA in creative writing. So Jay Wilcox, everyone.
I should smile. I should smile and hug her, pull her in close and rest my chin on her shoulder so that in my arms she might at least feel like she used to. But who can this possibly be? I try to make sense of what stands before me, the person standing there, and how her hair looks for once worse for wear. Bleached too blonde, brushed too hard, frayed and broken like the red sores around her mouth and chin, and the damage immediately resumes at that high denim line where her legs begin. Her halter top can't hide everything. Oh my God, it's been way too long. How are you? But I don't fully hear her. I don't hear her because I recognize those scars and I recognize those eyes. They belong to someone who has long since learned to describe the universe in first person. We hug, and of course it hurts when we let go because I have to look at her again and I already know. I look at her and I see ghost stories on summer nights. I see college protests for women's rights. I see spiked up hair and punk rock clothes and the healing hole from where she pierced her nose. I see scraped up knees. I see coffee can phones. I see everything she was and has chosen to be. None of it involves me. I should smile. I should smile like I used to. She shows me her home. It's a room where the blinds stay drawn tight to erase that dividing line between day and night. She shows me her friends. They all seem friendly, if a little bit faded, jaded, creepy in a way I can't fully see, and the street outside, meanwhile, occurs under an orange, then red, then deep purple sky. But we can't even hear the cars go by. We're an island, we're alone, we're a hot box of static. I'm surrounded by the coughs of the already asthmatic, and damn it, you think she'd know better than to pick up this habit. But at the same time, something strange happens. As the room fills with smoke, I float back to being young, dumb, wonderfully immersed among beer cans and barbecues and my uncle's Maduros. I see hopscotch and horseshoes, sloppy joes and cigarillos, all of it blended by an ancestral haze, that common thread linking my younger days. I grew up with Ash, and now I'm doing mental math. How much for a carton? Or should I buy each pack alone? Maybe I should roll one here and save it for the drive home. And when I look at my friend, I see all that she was and has chosen to be. I see trading cards in big backyards, sleepovers, early morning TV. I see HIV. Wait, no. No, God, no. I see old cartoon videos, bright like the stains on her clothes, like those white hot daggers she put up her nose. At some point, she fell through the crack. But she's smiling at me and I'm obliged to smile back. And it doesn't matter if I can see her new sores. I'm making her laugh like I did once before. She used to drink Crystal Light straight from the packet because it was the only way to get the full flavor. She'd toss it back with one fluid motion because her soul detests dilution and experiences through explosion. I should smile. I should hug her before she fades away, and I need to think of something to say before it's too late and I can't even open my mouth because I know the match burns brightest right before it burns out. Thank you.
Let's give it up one more time for Jay Wilcox, everybody. All right, judges. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. We are ready for our next performer. Let's welcome Chimdi, everyone, to the stage. AKA C. Primitive, and he is an aspiring poet and biology major trying to get wherever he can with his poetry. Chimdi, everybody.
Halfway through the poem, I'm probably gonna take out this piece of paper in my pocket, so, because you know, I have half it memorized. That aside. In my humble opinion, New York is the mecca of all African American culture. It's like that ignorant uncle we all have that means well, but sometimes comes off as, well, ratchet. And I mean ratchet beyond belief, but you love him anyway because you know if he passed, you couldn't possibly stomach the grief, but I'm scared that my uncle is going to die wearing a Brooklyn net snapback and a Marc Jacobs tie, a custom fitted suit from France with an Alexander McQueen design, reading the New York Times on his way to Wall Street with a dark shade of tint, with a dark shade of green in his eyes, New York. What is happening to you? You're gaining the world, but losing your soul. And you hardly seem concerned with what you've lost in the fashion and big bucks, because it's so easy for your culture to be paid off. NJ to BK was the final straw. The Brooklyn Nets broke the necks of all the single mothers in their 30s with 3 kids working 3 jobs, filling out resumes to re-up, but the city said, this town just isn't big enough for you to stay with a new $1 billion fully furnished stadium on the way, but we'll keep in touch. Okay, I'm sorry, I have to. But we'll keep in touch. The argument can be made that it's out with the old, in with the new. We need to stimulate the economy to generate revenue, but even that justification would be mistaken. Regardless of how nicely packaged it is, a spade needs to be called a spade. This is just another cold case of gentrification, a plague, sweeping through the nation, uprooting rich city cultures at their very foundations and putting high-rise buildings in brownstones, suits bankers and $1 million condos and skyscrapers as their replacements, and anyone who doesn't belong is disposed of like gnats on fly paper. And the kid, with a pocket full of lint and the mind free of clout, busting at the seams with creativity that rivals every suit on Wall Street, is maliciously pushed out. It's apparent. This is the new religion and it's sick. Hardly the same thing that should be considered out with the old, in with the new. No, this is the same old, out with the poor and in with the rich. With poverty comes cons, I'll admit. Prostitutes, gangs, guns, and stray bullets, slaying little brothers up pump bicycle handlebars, addicts, junkies, and alleys, drug dealers, misdemeanors, and drive-bys from tinted cars. But all that should be taken with a grain of salt. Never take the bad without the good. With poverty comes struggling, with struggle comes passion. The kind you can't find with big buildings, sports teams, matches, and high fashion. Passion that breathes life to art. Basquiat, forms of jazz, breakdancing heart. Colorful graffiti, beautiful murals, and hip-hop start. And what comes with wealth? Bankruptcy, deceit, lies, greed. When everything was put into perspective, all these cons were neglected, and the solution was that the poor had to go, because wealth outweighed everything else, even though it only had one pro: money. Is much more than just the root of all evil. If you look closer, there's far more to see. Constructs such as gentrification make up the rest of the branches for that same tree. So when the madmen with multitudes of monetary influence are the ones in command, you don't have to try too hard to figure out why the poor suffer firsthand, and the ultra rich expand, because that's just the law of the land, just the way it has to be, right? The Big Apple is rotten and has become accustomed to eating its own kids, and as they are forgotten, more power is given to New York to live. And we can all say we witnessed and did nothing to stop it. Thank you.
How about another round of applause for Chimdi? Judges, are you ready? All right. You guys are fast. I just walked like 2 feet. All right. 1, 2, 3. All right. Cool. All right, our next performer, let's welcome Nia Hampton. She's ready, so yes. Let me tell you a little bit about Nia. She is a native of Baltimore City, and she's double majoring in MCS and cinematic arts. What's MCS? There you go. And her passions include creative expression and the pursuit of knowledge.
I don't know about any other poet, but my heart was beating so fast waiting to come up here that it was distracting. That's why I was so happy to come. Now I can finally watch the last two people in the piece without hearing my own heartbeat. My name is Nia Hampton, and this is a reminder. I used to be a poet. I used to regurgitate poems that would sit on my stomach like spoiled milk on Saturday mornings. I never did check expiration dates. But now, I'm thinner. And I'm constantly working out, always imagining a poem, sometimes inspired with the first line, but as my feet land on the treadmill, it just vanishes. I sweat sonnets and bullets of phrases that before I became obsessed with my weight would have been so carefully nourished, so carefully cared about and thought out, they would have came into fruition. I used to write poetry. They would just fall out of me like fetuses and fall where my feet was, but then I lost my virginity. And all that emotion and energy spent into holding pens was now put into trying to hold other things. Like my temper, when my first rejected me on my birthday. Like my cracked face when he gave the phone to another girl to do his dirty work. Like my jaw when he apologized 4 months later through a Facebook message addressed to my mother. Like my tears when I heard that he had been killed a week later. I used to be resentful. But then I learned sometimes the speed at which things come is sometimes equivalent to the speed of which they leave. Security is an illusion. Perfection is a myth. The only real things are feelings, and sometimes even those I pleasantly forget. Because after the last one broke my heart, I didn't want to write anymore. Didn't want to keep attracting these guys that seemed to glide to me whenever my soft lips part and release soliloquies. Didn't want to continue to expose myself and make art, so I stopped. I swallowed volumes of great work because my fear of being heard created a hole that needed to be filled, and so I began to expand. Time that used to be reserved for writing was now spent listening to the flavor of the week tell me about his dreams because mine was so meager. Clinging on to his accomplishments instead of bringing mine back to life. Gobbling up whatever he was bringing to the table as if my plate was empty. Celebrating his creative accomplishments and wondering what happened to mine. No time to write if I want to be a wife. Flat abs and a round ass all I need to catch a man. It's not like they wanted me for my mind anyway. I used to be delusional. I can't tell you when I snapped out of my stupor and realized who I was or wasn't anymore. When my passion became passive. When did my passion become past tense? I used to know. I am a poet, but I almost forgot. Thank you.
How about another round of applause for Nia, everyone? All right, judges. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you, thank you. Okay, our next performer for real please welcome Blossom. Let me tell you a little bit about Blossom. Her AKA is Bloss the Boss.
The boss.
The Boss. Like Rick Ross. No, I'm sorry. All right. She's more concerned with learning than her earning because she'd rather be rich in her mind than in her pockets. It's a good way to look at it. She spends too much time studying and not enough living, but she's here at the slam tonight to live a little. So let's let her live. Blossom, everybody.
Hopefully I don't need this. This is an embrace. Young girl with porcelain skin, like fine china that your fathers may have made and glazed, and woman dipped in chocolate fondue, dripping all over you. Together I find you striking. One is older, like if you told her that you'd BRB, she might not know quite what you mean. The other is more like me, a teen. But if we looked back to another world, another day, another you, another me, they may have been mother and daughter, and this moment is merely a whisper of the love they once had for one another. But today, one has hair like combed cotton that her fathers may have picked, cringing till their fingers dyed it crimson, while the other's grows like silk spun into smooth opulence. They met in biology class, a class neither of them enjoyed immensely, but then again, few do. The girl was enrolled as it is something expected of all students pre-medical, though being so was as much her choice as being premenstrual. So she found herself in 3 or 4 classes chosen by 3 or 4 people who knew nothing about her nor who she dreamed to be. But then again, who could blame them when all she knew to want was to make her parents happy? For the woman, it was a bit different. She was not satisfied with her personal progress, having carried more children than textbooks, no disrespect to anyone's circumstances or choices, but her day-to-day labor was insufficient to sustain her intellect, so she enrolled, knowing that her parents, never having had the opportunity, would have been pleased. One carries a bright red book bag slung casually half empty on one shoulder, while the other rolls hers, unable to trot around so jauntily with a bad knee. You see, for the girl, it comes easily. She has been trained continuously to devour her studies and learns quickly, so her books lay lightly used on her dorm room floor while she parties the nights away. For the woman, it's more difficult. No one expected her to go past her GED, so she was never taught to think, let alone critically. Her education is so far removed, is as foreign as it could be, so she spends her nights flipping pages quietly, struggling over her concepts while her children sleep soundly. These two are different, extremely, yet somehow they came to be together and they embraced. Disregarding their difference in age and race, though one with the other might seem out of place, they embraced. And please don't pretend this is an oh-so-common occurrence, because if I asked you to count on your fingers how many friends you have that are unlike you, you might be left wringing your fingers. And please don't pretend that the peer that you were forced to meet with outside of class and never acknowledged thereafter, despite passing them regularly, counts towards this quota. So, sorry. To me, this girl and this woman embody the diversity that we claim so easily, because statistically, UMBC is a melting pot, but in reality, we segregate ourselves de facto and confine ourselves to our communities. Whether they be living or learning or social or racial or ethnic, if you are eclectic, you are unexpected and or unaccepted. So maybe we should get to know somebody outside of our biology class, our psychology class, our socioeconomic class, because we could learn so much from people unlike us if we could just embrace, like the Asian girl and the black woman I saw hugging Commons last week.
Let's give it up one more time for applause for stars, everybody. One. You guys ready? 1, 2, 3. We've come to our final performer of the evening. He's got drum roll, all right. Please help me in welcoming Victor to the stage, everybody. Victor is a 2009 alumni of UMBC, and he currently resides in New York, where he's working hard with faith to pursue and realize his dreams. When he creates and performs poetry, he goes under the name Vigor and Vision. So Victor, everyone.
You hear me up top? You hear me over here in the back? Judges, you hear me? All right, so when I first performed this poem, I only performed it once, I asked the audience a very personal question, okay? I asked them, you don't have to vocalize, just raise your hands. Who remembers their first time? I do. Okay, good showing of hands. All right, so to make it a little more comfortable, you know, for those of you who didn't raise your hands, maybe the person is here, that first is here. I'm gonna tell you about my first time. This verse is dedicated to my first. I'll never slander her name, although it didn't work, but recollecting I nursed pain in vain that I've covered with dirt. Now temptation is a curse, and with each day that dies with the night skies, I rise feeling worse. Man, I'm hating this thirst embedded in my soul like fingernails with trapped dirt. Man, I'm hating this thirst embedded in my soul like fingernails with trapped dirt, but I'm worse than any vampire. Scared of the light, cause lusty desire burns just like a campfire. So pain, not pride, produces all of these rhymes. Chronically influenced by every single time I granted Lucifer an audience with my mind, and in turn I find I keep fair maidens at bay, praying I don't cross lines, but temptation toys all the time telling me if feelings are in the pot, everything will mix just fine, but those guidelines are defined differently by every eye. So what does it mean when you do any of those things? Some might say, it's human nature. But I always just felt unclean, unsure of what was in store, now trying to blind my mind to the internal tally I've kept of shameful scores. And I know if I reconcile with God, he'll forgive and forget every present blemish, no degrees, and all the ones before. But honestly, for me, his forgiveness is yet to be the comprehensive cure, attempting to assert what I believe as I live and breathe, thinking if my faith is loud and projects to the opposite sex, I'll immediately get the respect I need. And in my head, I can hear my screams. I know God hears and he sees. Be speedy, please, I plead, though I'm not on my knees, to be instantly imbued with the strength I need. Too late. Because we just backed me into this corner, and once again my salvation temporarily takes leave. Feeling I failed my faith and it might break me, weighed by all the mistakes I made, soaked in pity and gasoline. Fighting against these flames, wondering if they, and even worse, God, hate me. But by grace, I try to wash it all away without drowning. Yet I still reflect and regret that first step. Such bad timing. Thank you.
How about another round of applause? That's my best friend too. No, I'm just kidding. No, she's being territorial. It's alright, it's okay, it's alright. I'm everyone's friend tonight, that's okay. Okay, so, you guys are distracting me. Judges, 1, 2, 3. Please help me in welcoming our last and final performer of the evening, Mabelle, everyone. Now, she is a theater student and spoken word artist. And from October 16th to the 20th, she will be performing in the play 3D, Diversity, Disparity, and Dialogue here in this building. Nice plug, nice plug. And there'll be 2 shows nightly, one at 7:30 and one at 9 p.m. So that's definitely a good look because this is a new building. I'm sure the theater is amazing. So if you guys are here, come check it out. All right, so without any further ado, here you go.
Sorry, I don't have this memorized. Somewhere collecting dust are the stickers to be stuck, to the letters to be sent to someone on someday, somewhere. Darling, letters are not just words. They are words with a sense of permanence. Eloquence and emotions fade, memories escape, but letters can hold words still in the palms of your hands forever. Remember when opening a letter could be a magical thing, a mystery beneath the seal, the kind that you could read once, read twice, put under your pillow, pull it out again to read for the 3rd time. Before click, send became traditional, before the LOLs and the BRBs. I remember when letters were long discourse, memoirs, heart-filled reservoirs. If then was now, I would write and write, and through our letters we would think with our hearts. I fill your letters, my love, with my angry fragments, my ungrateful moments, my pessimism, in hopes that you would write back and argue every wrong line with truth. Because the truth you speak, it changes me, and change I need. Because this world has already tossed cynicism into my looking glass, poured indifference into my medicine caps, covered my shoulders with coldness, crippled me with brokenness, and as it turns out, I'm not the only one. This place, it's filled with broken people who have filled their broken cracks with concrete and become rock solid. You think they were filled of bitterness and blindfolds. They think they are strong for it, but they are strong on concrete and high on hardness. Don't they see that this rock solid mindset is bent set on crippling humanity? And yet lately, that's the mindset that I've been trying to fetch. I have cracks and holes that I don't want to fill with coldness. But the hardness in this place, it's catchy. But my dear, we could use letters to fight off brokenness. Use words to create permanence. I'll write to you with confidence that when I hurt, you'll hurt too. And I'll have joy. Not because you hurt, but because I know that I have someone to share life with. We would think with our letters. Make foolishness a thing of work. In the palms of my hands, I could keep your words. If only you would write them in a letter. And if only I would post my letters. Thank you.
How about another round of applause for Mabelle, everyone? Judges, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, can you believe we're done, basically? We just have some prizes. Hello. Okay, so me and my trusty calculator. Now remember, I was an English major, but I carried, the tens and all that stuff. So we have a tie for third place. Third place. So that means, do you guys remember what that means? That involves the audience. It's a rap battle, right? Well, Jay, actually, you're involved in the tie. So, he's like, what? What are you talking about? Okay, so I need Jay and Mabelle to come up. And you're going to reread the same poem that you read. And by way of audience applause, we're going to break this third place position. Now, where's Mabelle? Did she just dip out? Oh, she's right there. Okay. So let's give it up for them one more time, guys. So I've been advised that you guys have to read half of it, so pick the better half, okay? Whatever half you have memorized, and bring your backflips and all that stuff, because we gotta get out of here, right? We don't gotta go home, but we gotta get out. So, okay, you guys each have 1 minute. So I will give it up for Jay first. Let's give him a round of applause. Welcome him back. Bring your A game. Can you do some push-ups or anything? You good? You good? All right. Okay, here you go.
I should smile. I should smile and hug her like I used to. Hold her in my arms and rest my chin on her shoulder so that in my arms she might at least feel like she used to. But who can this possibly be? I try to make sense of what I see, the person standing there, and how her hair looks for once worse for wear. Bleached too blonde, brushed too hard, frayed and broken like the red sores around her mouth and chin. The damage immediately resumes at the high denim line where her legs begin. Her halter top can't hide everything. Oh my God, it's been way too long, how are you? But I don't fully hear her, I don't hear her, because I recognize those scars and I recognize those eyes. They belong to someone who's long since learned to describe the universe in first person. And it hurts when we let go, because I have to look at her again, and I already know. She used to drink Crystal Light straight from the packet, because it was the only way to get the full flavor. And she'd toss it back with one fluid motion, because her soul detests dilution and experiences through explosion. I should smile and hug her, so she doesn't slip away. And I need to think of something to say, before I can't even open my mouth. Because I know the match burns brightest right before it burns out.
Woo! Thank you, Jay. All right, judges, so don't count that applause yet. I'm gonna do like an official count or whatever, sound, audio thing. So when they both go, then I'll tell you when you decide who is the winner. Got it? Okay, good. Cool. All right, so Mabelle, everyone.
Somewhere are the stickers to be stuck on the letters, to be sent to someone. Somewhere. Darling, letters are not just words. They are words with a sense of permanence. Better than memory. Eloquence and emotions fade. Memories escape. But with letters, you can hold them in the palms of your hands forever. Remember when opening a letter was a magical thing, a mystery beneath the seal, the kind that you could read once, read twice, put under your pillow, pull it out again to read for the third time. Before the BRBs and the LOLs, before click send became traditional, when word messages were long discourse, memoirs, heart-filled reservoirs, I would write to you. And I'd fill them with my angry fragments and my pessimism in the hopes that you would write back and argue every wrong line with truth. Because the truth you speak, it changes me. And change I need, because this world has already tossed cynicism into my looking glass, poured coldness into my medicine caps. And as it turns out, I'm not the only one. This world is filled with broken people, with broken cracks that they filled with coldness. Thank you.
Thank you, Mabelle. All right, I need you guys both to come here, center stage, boom, right here. All right. You guys scared? Yeah. No? You scared? No? Okay. That's good. Well, you know, that's gas or whatever. It's okay. All right, judges. So what I'm going to do is put my hand over their head. Make sure I can reach. Okay. And then the audience is going to applause, and then you guys will deliberate in like 15 seconds. Who has louder applause? Okay? Cool. All right. First up, audience members, you know what to do, right? You clap. 2 hands, right? Mabelle, everybody? Good job. Good job. All right. NJ, everybody. Judges, you have 15 seconds to deliberate. 1 Mississippi, 2 sorry. You guys are good? Good. All right. So, okay, they're gonna tell Sally. And Sally's gonna tell me. Okay, this is telephone. So you said octopus? No. Oh. All right. So, well, you guys can have a seat. Thanks. Because I guess it would make sense to do all of the winners. Yeah, that was the only time. Third, second, first. Okay. All right, so our third place winner is Jay Wilcox, everybody. And our second place winner is, drum roll, Chimney, everyone. Chimney. Come on out. Congratulations. And our first place winner, you guys ready?
Yes.
You're ready. You guys are so ready. Is Victor. So again, as Sally mentioned, we want to thank all of you for coming out tonight. The event would have not happened without all of our current and past students. We want to thank the English department. All the winners, you will have to go to the English department, present your certificate, and then you get your cash money. Big thanks to our judges. And Mike Fallon wants to say something. So the winners, if you could, in like 2 minutes, come up here so we can get a picture for the magazine. You're gonna be, you know, famous, get your paparazzi on. So all three, first place, second place, and third place. Other than that, thank you and have a great evening.